The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. My name is Paul Solano of the PS&All Marketing Group. This is season number 2, show number 29, and it's happening right now. Well, thank you, studio audience. Thank you so much. It's happening right now. If you're traveling down to the Cape and you're sitting in traffic at that lane drop dance, you're listening to Paul Ponders, and we welcome any new listeners and thank all the wonderful returning listeners we have. So just be careful driving, but just sit back and relax. Now, in studio with me today is an occasional co-host, Christopher Perry. Welcome, Christopher.
Thank you, Paul. Greatly appreciate it.
Great to have you back. And also a returning guest, Pembroke Select Chair and fellow Pembroke Foundation member, John Brown. Welcome back.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And certainly, last but not least, my executive consultant of the Paul Ponders podcast, Arthur Boyle.
It's always nice to be with you, Paul, and it's nice to be with two of my colleagues from Pembroke, the political world of Pembroke.
Absolutely, without a doubt, and we'll be talking about what's happening next week on our 4th of July show, very special celebration. We'll be talking about that later. But I would also be remiss if I do not thank Brother David Boyle for pinch hitting for me last Saturday. He and Greg Brasso of Veterans Voice just did an awesome job. I got to listen to the rebroadcast the other day. And thank you, David Boyle, and thank you, Greg Brasso. And Greg, it's always great to hear you every Thursday night at 7 o'clock on ATD. And the reason why I wasn't here was because of one of our bartenders at Pearl Street Station Restaurant passing away suddenly, and condolences to Alicia's husband, Rob, and son, Mason, and may Alicia rest in peace. And it was a beautiful tribute to a beautiful young lady. And while I'm at it, next week, Arthur, we have you and David, Brother David, on talking about the 250th celebration, and you have a couple of surprises.
And they'll be nice surprises. So.
Absolutely. Well, we're not going to say anything because it's a surprise.
That's right.
All righty. Well, I am excited to bring you another great season with my network of very knowledgeable contributors. We will continue to keep it real, hot and timely, South Shore and Cape and the Islands base, North Shore reference, but definitely full of Paul pondering thoughts. A couple of weeks ago, we officially welcomed my media sponsor, Scott Albertson of Project142.org, and his dedication around the nation. And we will hear about Scott later on in his illustrious career thus far. But thank you, Scott, for all the great promoting you do for the Paul Ponders. That's Scott Albertson, 1T in Scott, and that's SON in Albertson. And check him out at Project 142 or scottalbertson.com. Now, as you probably already know, I also wear another hat as general manager of Pearl Street Station Restaurant in Malden. And a huge shout-out to Chef Felipe Fitzpatrick and his culinary team. Chef Felipe is a loyal listener through the Odyssey app. So hello to Chef Felipe. And a quick shout-out to our newest listeners, Al Tallarico and his wife Karen, our new owners of Pearl Street Station Restaurant, along with Butch Halloran and his wife Christina. We welcome them as the owners of Pearl Street Station Restaurant, and just continuing the legacy left forth by our previous owner, Alan Robot, and his widow, Michelle. So, Alan, Karen, thanks for tuning in and listening to Paul Ponders on ATD. And also, I met a very nice couple from Switzerland last evening at the restaurant. They're in for the World Cup, and they just happened to do a Google search, and our restaurant, Pearl Street Station, popped up, and they had a wonderful, wonderful time. It was their first time ever having barbecued steak tips, and the first time having fried ice cream, and they just had a wonderful time. So I don't know if they're listening as they're touring around. Maybe they're listening on the Odyssey app. I don't know. But as I always say, we do have lots of activity going on this weekend at Pearl Street Station. We have 4 functions and lots of party pans. Now, as Malden's Pearl of the community for over 40 years, we have incredible staying power in the greater Boston area and the North Shore. Please venture over the godforsaken bridge, as my daughters say, and visit us. And Chef Felipe, the pork loin and vinegar peppers you made the other night were absolutely spectacular. It was the right mix of oil, the spices, the roasted red bliss potatoes, just so, so good. And I always give a shout-out to my 12 o'clock staff of Chef Felipe, Chef Joaquin, Jen, Nicole, and Don for holding down the fort on this very busy day. Now, as I stated earlier, it is season number 2 and show number 29, and it is an absolute honor and pleasure to be on WATD in the slot of the Boiling Point with Arthur Boyle sitting across the table from me. And Arthur is my executive consultant of the Paul Ponders radio show. And Arthur, you're out there adding to our list of sponsors and seasonal sponsors, so I thank you for that. And if you want to chime in on the former Boiling Point or anything that's happening in the advertising world.
Well, there's clients that we have from the past and some that we hope to acquire in the future. But it's coming along, and it's amazing that it's been 29 shows after the first year to put everything together, and you're going to be great.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, I have a great coach and a great mentor in that, so I thank you for that. And, of course, this would not be possible, really, if it wasn't for Tim behind the glass. Racing in.
Good
there
afternoon, Paul.
Hello, Mr. Tim.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. We were having a nice NASCAR chat before you rolled in today. Lots of action last weekend on the Coronado Naval Base. All 3 series raced. They turned 3 miles of the road out there into a 16-turn road course. And trucks kept banging into the wall, going around the turns. They had a little hill they went down, got a little air. And then Saturday, one of the cars, they all welded them down before anyone went on the course, but a manhole cover popped up. One car went over it, flipped, and went into the radiator of the 17 driven by Corey Day.
Oh, my.
Yeah, but this was an unexpected, unforeseen situation. Usually the rule is, okay, you can work on the car, but we're going to keep racing. He would have gone 4 laps down, but because it was no fault of his own, I mean, a manhole cover. Everywhere else they go, that doesn't happen. So he didn't lose any time, didn't lose any laps. He was able to race with them all, and Austin Hill got that race win. Lane Riggs won the truck race, and everyone was pulling for road course master from the land down under, Shane Van Gisbergen, on Sunday. But sadly, he got caught up in a wreck with his teammate Connor Zilich, and I forget who else it was. But sadly, they will try again at the Sonoma Raceway road course this weekend. And right now, SVG has the pole for the O'Reilly race today. Well, hopefully he'll get that for tomorrow, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fabulous. And again, I am totally amazed at your knowledge base of NASCAR and racing. But also, too, I say it, but it is true. I can't say it enough. You are, keeping us all together here at the station. And
do the best
do a great
I can.
job.
I'm almost out of duct tape, but we're
there we
staying
go.
together.
Absolutely. we have some crazy glue in the car.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Okay, that stuff
absolutely.
works great.
We'll stick to it. Okay.
Yes, we will.
All righty. Well, with that note, yes, we're right on schedule. Thanks. All right. So we have the Pod Pro Techie Toolbox segment. At this point, we usually do have Shelley Wolf calling in. And this is the segment with Techie Chalonzo Amos and Michelle Wolf, global media firm owner, Toolbox Entertainment. and Vice President of Technology Literacy for PodPro, and a past Paul Ponders guest. But Shelley is off this weekend, well-deserved weekend off, and she's at a wedding in Maryland and all. But I really am honored to bring our guests on the line, and we have calling in State Representative Ken Sweezy. Representative, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be with you today.
It's really great to have you on. I'm sure we share a mutual friend. I'm from the Malden Medford area, so State Rep Steve Ultrino and State Rep Paul Donato.
Yes, of course, Leader Donato is great.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Well, I want to thank you for being on and in studio. I have, from right to left, I have my executive consultant, Arthur Boyle, here, and we have Christopher Perry, who you know, and also John Brown. So I know you're taking some time out of your very busy schedule to be with us today, and I'm going to turn this over to Christopher Perry, who has, in fact, initiated you calling in. And again, I want to thank you for calling in to Paul Ponders Radio on ATD.
Hey, good morning, Representative Sweezy. How are you today?
Doing great, guys. Thanks. Glad we could come together to talk about a great project.
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking time out of campaigning today and door knocking and connecting with the community. Obviously, I wanted to be able to reach out to Representative Sweezy in regards to Veterans Memorial Park. Ken has been very instrumental in the early presentation of this project. Ken, when I first told him about the project, he was 100% behind it. He really has done everything that he has been able to do. Him and Representative Lenatra as well. Both have been very, very good in working on putting this project together and bringing it to fruition.
Excellent. So, Representative, what do you? You'll be there on Monday evening at the community center, and what do you plan on speaking about and advocating for this wonderful project?
Yeah, well, I think exactly what Chris said, right? Short-term history. As soon as Chris brought something of this nature to me, Rep. Lenatra, Senator Fernandez, obviously John Brown with us as well, the chair of the select board. It's important that they have the state support. They know that we're behind them 100%. Couldn't find, a better group to lead a project like this, as well as finding a project that is, so needed, I think, to make sure that we're honoring those that, have served in the most important way possible. So I'm behind them. But these projects, it can't be understated, really require grassroots, support from the town. If it wasn't for Chris, if it wasn't for the Chair Brown here from the select board, these things wouldn't get off the ground at all. So, I'm happy to be a very supportive cheerleader, assistant here and have it be led from the town level, which is great. And I think that's really one of my most important jobs and one that I really treasure is just seeing how impressive the members of our communities are, and they take up a cause as worthy as this. And I'm just happy to support as much as I can. So, yes, definitely encourage everybody to get out to the meeting on Monday, and I will be there as well.
That's fabulous. And really, not only grassroots, but it's also a bipartisan type of situation
100%.
and all. And I see Chair John Brown across the table. John, do you want to add something on this?
Well, overall, I mean, this project is phenomenal. It started after we had to figure out what our town's properties were ADA compliant. And that's how this whole thing actually started. And because of things happening with COVID, and then Chris picking up the ball with the working group, and then help from our representation on Beacon Hill, I mean, this thing has basically snowballed in a great way to get this done to represent those who've served our town of Pembroke.
That's great. And you have so many other initiatives going on, Representative. I want to thank you for all the support you really give to Pembroke. And Arthur, do you have a comment on this?
Just that it's great to have people from both sides in town working together, and knowing that there's a bigger issue of the town of Pembroke and the support of the military. So I think it's wonderful, and as I say, I count these guys among my friends, and it's good to all be on the same team.
Without a doubt. Now, Chris, as we start to wind down with the representative's really busy schedule and all, do you have any final comments you want to make to the representative?
I just really want to thank Representative Sweezy. Again, he was really the first person that I had reached out to in regards to this. And Representative Sweezy has just been, I've always been able to consult with him, and he's always been there. He's exactly what our state needs, what our community needs, and he definitely cares about Pembroke, obviously, and the other communities that he also represents, Duxbury.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Well, Representative, I'm going to try to make it down from Malden to be at this meeting on Monday.
Right.
But I hope to meet you in person. Do you have anything else to add before you head out back on the campaign trail?
Just thank you very much for having us. WATD does a great job, lifting up these local causes as well. So thank you for the time. John, thank you. Chris, thank you for the kind words and for really spearheading this project. Arthur as well. I think, pointing out that this is a bipartisan effort that everybody can get behind. Whenever you can get as many people in the community rowing in the same direction, I think it's always going to create some really positive impacts, and that's why I'm so excited to be a part of this project and be at the meeting Monday evening. So I will see all of you then, and hopefully all of our listeners as well. Thanks so much, guys.
Fabulous. Make it a great day, Representative. Thank
you.
you.
Guys as well. Talk to you later.
Have a great day. Thank you. Be well. Yeah, it's one of those things that, I know, Arthur, in your Boiling Point, your former show, The Boiling Point, you had Representative Lenatra in studio. And she's out there in the community, and she basically, is all about bipartisanship in the community, and also it's really, really important, for us to, in fact, just keep this going. Any final thoughts before we go into our break and we don't make the donuts, but we earn some money for our sponsors?
Just one quick thing. I really enjoyed the way Representative Sweezy had stated about Pembroke and everybody rowing in one direction. It is bipartisan. It is about the community. It is about coming together and putting everyone together and going in one direction. I love the way he said that.
Absolutely. John, any final thoughts on the representative's presentation?
No, it was good. Like I said, I'm happy with all our representation because we're working across party lines. But at the same time, it's all about exactly going for solutions, not partisanship.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And with that, we're going to hold that thought through the upcoming segment that we have after the commercial breaks. But we'll be talking in the last segment about what's going to be happening on Monday night, more about the project and whatever else is happening around Pembroke. How's that sound?
Excellent. Thank you, Paul.
Well, as Arthur across the table says, it's not time to make the donuts, it's time to pay some bills. So let's hear from our sponsors.
Have you tried Bryantville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were 3 deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email mike@northeasternfence.com. What is your home doing to your health? How is the air quality in your home? You can breathe easier with Environmental Resources, an indoor air quality company you can count on, providing healthy solutions for your home or business. Environmental Resources specializes in mold inspections and testing for toxic type molds. mold removal assessments, musty odors, allergens, and excess moisture and dampness. Environmental Resources is a locally owned and established business for over 23 years, located in Hanover, Route 53. Call Environmental Resources today for solutions for a healthy home and healthy people. No mold, no allergens, no indoor pollution. Environmental Resources, 781-248-9975 at airenvironments.com. Again, that's Environmental Resources, 781-248-9975, airenvironments.com for better health. Andy Provatola.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. The call-in number here and the text number is 781-837-4900, and you could also find us on the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. And if you're like Chef Felipe at Pearl Street Station Restaurant, or my daughter Ann in California, you're listening on that Odyssey app. And Annie, I look forward to seeing you next week sometime. You, Sarah, and the kids. So it's going to be great to have a nice visit with you. And also a shout out to all those nonprofits out there. If you want to be featured on the Paul Ponders podcast or on this radio show, please email me at paul@paulponders.com. Listeners can go to paulponders.com to find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders on WATD shows. Now, this Sunday night at midnight, I have the aforementioned, previously stated Scott Albertson, that's Scott with one T and Albertson, S-O-N, on talking about his incredible adventures over a course of 39 years in underwater photography and scuba diving. And it's a really very animated episode, as only Scott Albertson could do. And it's really just a wonderful podcast. It's about 18, 19 minutes long. We could have gone on for another hour, actually, but we are going to be featuring Scott and his work as a former Border Patrol officer out in Arizona, and his work as a police officer in Norwalk, Connecticut, as well in a future episode. So looking forward to dropping that on YouTube at midnight tomorrow night, and then of course it's available on all those networks that I mentioned earlier. It's 7 a.m. on Monday morning. And also to a quick shout out to my friends Wendy Lippy and Cliff Blake and Eddie Serino for their production with What's Happening at the Boston Center for the Arts and the Black Box Theater. 2 more shows to go, one tonight at 7:30 and then tomorrow at 4. And they've been on the podcast, they've been on the radio show, and they have a wonderful, wonderful production. It's getting really super reviews. And the producer of the director of this show is Julia Murney of Wicked in her Boston directorial production, her first one. And the name of the production is Frankie and Johnny in the Clair de Lune, and it's a 2-person show, and it's really I'm trying to get over there tomorrow afternoon to see the final show, but it's really a great thing. So again, check the Psych Drama Company on the internet, and some tickets are still available for that Black Box Theater. So at this point of the program, we're very happy to have the segment of Health and Wellness Survival Tips with Miss Sharon Filliard. She's on the line. Sharon, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Glad to be back.
It's awesome to have you on, and it was nice seeing you the other night when you stopped into Pearl Street Station Restaurant. It was nice. I'm glad that I was in the building, and
absolutely.
We got to chat a few minutes, and you were talking about picking up on what you were talking about a few shows ago with the Rosetta study. So take it away, my friend.
So today's topic is regarding mood, specifically depression and isolation. So part of what was studied or they realized during the Rosetto study is that when people are surrounded by love, family, friends, your life is better physiologically, sociologically, mentally. Everything benefits. So today I'd like to talk about how people deal with mood, specifically depression. So as we all know, alcohol is a really big driver in this country, but what most people don't realize is that generally when people drink too much, drug too much, smoke too much, they're actually attempting to regulate mood. So, for example, even opioids. So, like, for example, if someone takes opioids, for example, this affects dopamine. So this dopamine gives people a temporary rush. They kind of feel good, you know. They're like, wow, I can forget about all my problems for just a minute. But what happens is this is temporary, and they crash and they seek the next high. So these sort of modes of regulating mood, alcoholism, drug use, smoking, these are what are called pernicious or harmful ways of helping to regulate your mood and keeping you happy. And this keys into the Rosetto study again, because the happier you are, the better choices you make, the better your relationships are, the better your family interactions are. So today I'd like to talk about what are healthy ways to regulate mood. Well, one of the ways is what you're doing, Paul Ponders Podcast.
Yes.
Because suppose there's someone who's feeling a little lonely and they tune into Paul Ponders Podcast. Well, they might feel as though they're listening to an old friend, and something as simple as listening to say a podcast, a radio program can help to allay and maybe anxiety and stress in an individual. So I just like to go over. Oh, by the way, most of the information today is culled from Medical News Today, the National Institutes of Health, and Science Insights. Okay, so one of the ways that's really easy to do is to go for a walk. Going for a walk. So one of the phenomena of the brain is that it can't really think about two things at once. Did you know that? You can't really think about two things at once, especially men. So are you looking at Tim over there? It's just the way the brain is sort of wired. And so a very healthy way of kind of altering your mood is to divert your attention to something that is healthy. So this would include walking, writing poetry, going swimming, visiting with a friend, even taking a nap. So sometimes if a person is extremely stressed out, they'll actually crash and go to sleep. This is the brain's way of literally relaxing, kind of rebooting, so to speak. So other things you can do that are very important is to meditate, right? Meditating, focusing on breath, because again, remember, the brain can't think about two things at once. So if you've ever had a small child and they're screaming, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you put a big ice cream cone in front of them, right? All of a sudden they're thinking about the ice cream cone. And although it may just be temporary, they'll stop crying to look at that ice cream cone, right? And so it's the same way with adults. Now, speaking of sleeping, going back to that, sleep hygiene is also another mitigator of depression, getting enough sleep. So it's important for your listeners to remember that your sleeping environment should be dark, it should be quiet, the computer shouldn't be on, all of these things, so that your brain can rest. When this happens, it has been shown that this helps to reduce anxiety, stress, and also depressive symptoms. Now, a person may have a biochemical issue causing depression, and that's important to know as well, because if the individual or patient needs a biochemical assist, say with SSRIs, a licensed psychiatrist, or licensed mental health professional can avail you to these medications to help you deal with that biochemical shift that may occur, which is called emotional lability. This is when your emotions kind of shift very quickly, and that can be out of your control for some. So, like I said, and the other thing I wanted to mention, there are natural substances you can take. In past episodes, I kind of mentioned this. One of them is saffron. It's commonly called mellow yellow. It's a spice, but it has been shown to be a mild antidepressant. Did you know that?
I did not, no.
Yes, saffron. You can also drink chamomile tea and ginger, the root. Like you can buy the ginger root at the market and kind of, right. These are also mild antidepressants. So there are things in the supermarket that you can add to your diet to help you to sort of maintain this nice, not entirely stress-free, but to reduce stress, thereby reducing the triggers that can cause depression. Other substances are lavender, lemon balm, and St. John's wort. However, with St. John's wort, you just want to check with your doctor to make sure that there are no contraindications, especially if you are currently taking SSRI depressants. So it's one of these things where you want to take very small steps. You don't want to say, okay, I'm going to change my life entirely. You may start with, okay, tonight I'm going to make sure I get 8 hours of sleep. And you can keep a log of these changes that you're making to help you to sort of gently, naturally shift your mood away from maybe being more predisposed to depression and being more cheerful. Another driver of depression is isolation. This is a big one, isolation. When an individual is isolated, they have time to ruminate, where you can have these looping thoughts of doom, right? And this can lead to, unfortunately, a sort of what they call an ideation of self-harm, without getting too far into that. So it is important that if your listeners or someone they know have these mood shifts that lead them into a black hole of this sort of like very depressive mood, they've got to talk to someone. They've got to reach out. There are helplines. There are all sorts of things, but reach out, talk about it. And for me personally, what I like to do, I like to have gratitude in my life, to think about the small things that I'm grateful for, like, say, having a great cup of coffee or having a great workout. When an individual shifts towards gratitude, it just makes you feel just warm and fuzzy inside. So hopefully this will help your listeners a little bit to deal with the travails of life. Oh, do you know another mood stabilizer?
What is that?
Going to Pearl Street Restaurant and having dinner.
You know, you got a point there. I like that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And having the fried ice cream. That fried ice cream always works out well, or buffalo chicken fingers, whatever.
Absolutely.
The ultimate comfort food, right? Exactly.
That's right.
Without a doubt. Well, Sharon, I want to thank you, and I'm showing my gratitude as well by thanking you for being there for us. You're another very popular part of our show, and I want to thank you so much. And how do our listeners in Paul Ponder's land reach out to you?
Well, they can always reach me through you at Paul Ponder's Podcast or through my YouTube channel, The Philly Off Fall Prevention Method. I'm always happy to give little tips that make life a little bit easier for everyone.
Absolutely. Sharon, I've known you for over 20 years now, and we've had many a discussion, and it's all about the PMA, the positive mental attitude. It's all about that podcast I did with Focus, fixating on certain ultimate sites, and about gratitude and all. And again, on behalf of John Brown and Christopher Perry and Arthur Boyle and Tim Behind the Glass, I want to thank you for being on and for being the leader of this health and wellness survival tip segment.
My pleasure. Absolutely.
Until we meet again, my friend, we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thanks so much.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
Sharon.
day.
Be well
Bye-bye.
now. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Now let's hear from our sponsors, who we're very thankful for as well.
Have you tried Bryantville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were 3 deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email mike@northeasternfence.com. What is your home doing to your health? How is the air quality in your home? You can breathe easier with Environmental Resources, an indoor air quality company you can count on, providing healthy solutions for your home or business. Environmental Resources specializes in mold inspections and testing for toxic-type molds, mold removal assessments, musty odors, allergens, and excess moisture and dampness. Environmental Resources is a locally owned and established business for over 23 years, located in Hanover, Route 53. Call Environmental Resources today for solutions for a healthy home and healthy people. No mold, no allergens, no indoor pollution. Environmental Resources, 781-248-9975 at airenvironments.com. Again, that's Environmental Resources, 781-248-9975, airenvironments.com for better health. Andy Provatola.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back. Thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. The call-in number is 781-837-4900. Tim Behind the Glass. I love that little lead and different music.
Well, it was another happy accident.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good in the hood, as they say.
Yes, thank you.
I like
Thank
that.
You're welcome.
Music to my ears, actually.
Yes.
Indeed. Well, at this point in the program, we have the financial wing of Olympic Proportion, sponsored by PS&L Marketing Group and Riverworks Credit Union, NMLS number 410564, with Mr. Paul Crowley of Riverworks Credit Union and Olympian and former Boston Bruins winger Dave Jensen, Senior Loan Officer. But Christopher and Dave are Paul and David are busy today doing many things with the way the loan market is. They're out there working hard, so good for them. But in studio, as I said earlier, we have Christopher Perry. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
And John Brown. Welcome back.
Appreciate it, Paul.
And, of course, Arthur Boyle is here as well. But we've been promoting this wonderful event coming up on Monday evening.
That's correct.
So take it away, my friend.
Thank you so much, Paul. Really just trying to let all of the residents know of Pembroke specifically, but also anybody else, too. I mean, there are veterans all over our South Shore. So please come take a look and see what Pembroke is putting forward with this revitalization of our Veterans Park. It is really something that our residents are going to be very, very proud of. I am extremely proud of how we were able to go ahead and get this done. I really have to thank my fellow member here of the Pembroke Foundation, John Brown, originally I won't say just a select board member, but now he's currently the chair. But at the time, it was, seeking counsel from John. How do I get this to the next point? And it was through his guidance that was going ahead and talking with Bill Chenard, our town manager, sitting down with him and how to go ahead and take the reins over for this. And like John could actually say a few words in regards to how that process happened.
Well, it was the whole thing of making sure that it wasn't convoluted. Because if we have a subcommittee, basically you have to go through all these meetings, open meeting law, more of a working group, have it insulated on the players involved. So you have Memorial Committee, you have the American Legion, you have a member from my board who actually is a veteran also, which worked out well, and Chris, part of the Historic District Commission, which is the main driver too because it's in the historic district. So you have these main players going forward, and as I said earlier, it was all about making sure that we were ADA compliant. So how do we help out in the future to represent our veterans in a proper way? Just like Middle Boroughs. Middle Boroughs is beautiful. It's phenomenal. Marshfield redoing theirs. I believe Rockland was another one of redoing theirs. We want to be on the same effort as their towns and going forward. But what we wanted to do was make sure it could go through quicker so we can get through the process of planning and zoning and trying to raise as much money as possible so it's not on the public dime either. That was the biggest point, too.
That is really key. It really is. So, and it's really great. You have the working group, but also the collaboration and synergy with the Pembroke Foundation is really cool. Now, is this a fundraiser in any way? What's happening with that?
Yes and no. I mean, the Pembroke Foundation will be there. We will have beer and wine available for purchase during the presentation. But just to be very clear, the town is not sponsoring the aspect of the beer and wine. That is strictly the foundation with as part of a fundraising. Obviously, they're also available to be there if someone actually wanted to make a donation directly to Veterans Park. It is about trying to gather funds for this. We have been working very closely with Old Colony Planning Council as well in regards to grants. I actually had an awesome meeting with them, a good majority of their team. And as I was sitting down talking about this, they were like, okay, well, we're going to apply for this grant, this grant, this grant. I mean, they just riddled them off the top of their heads. And I was just dumbfounded as to how well and how knowledgeable they were of this. So definitely hats off to Old Colony Planning Council and their team over there.
Interesting. So are you going to have a raffle in any sort? Could I donate gift cards to Pearl Street Station Restaurant? Are you going to have any raffle or anything?
No, there won't be any raffles or anything like that. This is strictly about the presentation itself. I just wanted to go ahead and have something a little bit more, I don't want to say that as a degrading, but as an upscale. Sit down, have a glass of wine. This is the presentation. This is the PowerPoint. This is what our park is going to look like. Something to be proud of.
Right, exactly. Absolutely. Arthur, do you have anything to add to this wonderful project?
No, I think that's the case is all is a wonderful project, and it's about the town and about the beautification of an area that, everybody wins. It's great.
Absolutely. And when I think back to your mom, Peg Boyle, she was in the Marines, a wave, right?
Yeah, she was very specific to say she was not a woman Marine. She was a Marine. And as one of 4 boys raised by her, or 4 children, I should say, we grew up with spare the rod and spoil the child.
Without a doubt. Semper Fi. And your dad, Arthur Boyle, who was our high school principal in Malden High School, was in the Army, if I remember correctly?
Yes, he was in the Army, and was very proud of that fact as well. So.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So what time is this starting? 7 o'clock?
Yeah, it'll be 7 o'clock at our community center. And the really just amazing aspect of this, and one of the great things about our community center is we have such a awesome audiovisual software program. It's right there for to be able to be utilized between the sound system, the lighting, the builders and the original design team of the community center just really did an amazing job with this, and it just makes the whole presentation aspect of it enjoyable for the residents in the community.
Without a doubt. And, of course, the community center is such a gem. Lance Kennedy,
yes.
He does a great job
He
there.
does.
It's a gem. It really is. It's a great resource in Pembroke. And, John, do you have anything to add on this?
As far as I just have to double check, we're selling our T-shirts there too, correct?
Yes,
Chris?
that is correct. Yes, I'm sorry, I completely brain farted that one out. Yes, that is correct.
As much money as we can.
Yep.
Okay. Operators are standing by. MasterCard and Visa accepted?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Our veterans T-shirts will be for sale there also. So, and that money also goes towards the project too.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
That's nice. Wow. So, we have other things going on in the Pembroke community. What's happening in the Pembroke community? What else is happening? The light project the field project is all squared away.
Yes.
They're in the middle of their season, right? Hopefully going to Williamsport, right? In the Little League World Series and all. What else is happening?
I wish we were part of the Little League World Series stuff. Unfortunately, we're Cal Ripken, so it's not a part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm seeing more and more, actually, Cal Ripken leagues, teams starting up. It really is something. Malden actually just went with Cal Ripken.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, things are humming in Pembroke big time. Besides, redoing our streets, we have about 4 or 5 streets, or about 6 streets going forward. Other products that we have, the things going forward with the former funeral home for that area, where they're building up. Yep. Big Y opened up in the center of town.
Nice.
Very happy to have them. They really want to be a part of this town and say, hey, what are we doing to help out? Which was part of the Light Project too. I believe that they are a part of that.
Yep.
Trying to help out, put that up for us too. And PYB and softball have done a phenomenal job to basically those fields itself. And their programs just increased over year after year. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And as a former chair of the Malden Y and a Y rat growing up in Malden, it's one of those things. The YMCA is just so important. And I remember going to the YMCA assembly in St. Louis quite a few years ago. I think it was some late '90s or whatever, and just being in I'm trying to think of the arena that the St. Louis Blues played in. Maybe it was the Ralston Center, maybe Ralston Purina Center, whatever. And just being in there and just being around the YMCAs, around YMCAs from all over the world was just powerful. It really was. Singing YMCA, of course, I nailed that Y, that M, that CA. It was really great. So it's really great that that's become a very vibrant part of the Pembroke community.
And then having the head of our recreation and the community center itself of Lance Kennedy coming from that realm too of the YMCA.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about and then some.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
I never knew that. Wow. I've met Lance twice, and wow, when I see, will he be there on Monday night?
Yes, he will be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
super. I'll have to have a conversation
He was
with him.
building something somewhere with the ASP this past weekend. So
Seriously, huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And as we hone in on getting ready for the 250th next week, and we have those surprises that Arthur told us about. We can't talk about because it's a surprise. But anyways, what's the role of Pembroke and the South Shore area with the 250th? Anything going on? Fireworks and anything?
Pembroke really doesn't do fireworks, so for us, we actually go to other towns and support them too.
Marshfield.
So as I've always told people ever since I ran for office, was we are the center of the universe. We have 7 towns touching us. So I love to feel that way because I don't mind going to Halifax for their stuff, or Hanson, or Plymouth, even though Plymouth doesn't touch us. But Kingston, whatever they're trying to do, it's about the South Shore and how we can help each other collaboratively. So for 4th of July, any other event that we're doing, I want them to come to us. Just like on the end of July, we're going to be part of Fox 25 Zip Trip.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm looking forward to that one too because it's going to really accentuate what Pembroke's about.
Oh, nice.
And we really get to inform all of Massachusetts of, hey, take a look at Pembroke. This is what we're about.
Yeah, we might not be on the sign on Route 3, and we're still working on that.
We're still working on
really?
that.
I've been working on that for 9 years.
You know, now that you mention, when I come down from Malden, Medford area, I really don't see. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us a contact over at DOT so we can go ahead and get our sign.
I'll have to work on that.
Yeah, because the federal government did tell me back in the day that was good to go, and now it's just basically make sure that the Mass DOT is helping us out. That's all.
Maybe we'll have to pull Representative Sweezy aside on Monday night and Representative Lenatra, and we'll start the ball rolling on that.
All our reps have the last couple of years. So
absolutely. Well, gentlemen, it's been real to thank you, and looking forward to all those surprises next week and all. So we'll see. Absolutely, really great. And I won't be on next week. I'm actually at Backyard Barbecue, 100 people in Peabody, so that should be a lot of fun. So I want our listeners to stay tuned to WATD and the Memories with Ron Dwyer. Ron, you are the Grand Poobah of Musical Memories. Thanks again to Tim, Arthur, Chris, John, Sharon, and our advertisers. But really, thank you, listeners in WATD World and Beyond. Here's to a continued great season number 2 and beyond. Keep on Paul pondering. Happy 4th of July. Happy 250th. #Indeed.